center field. Back toward the track. And that ball is gone.
You are listening to the North Shore 9 podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, make sure to watch NS9 Live every Thursday on Twitch and help support by becoming a patron. Let's go Bucks!
Yo. What's up, everyone? Welcome to NS9 Live. I am your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we got Jim Rosati from the Northside Notch. Jim, it's Thursday night. The seasons are almost over. How you doing?
Doing good. I'm under curfew right now, so I'm locked in my home. But
for the people that don't know.
Yeah, for the people that I don't know how you could not know, but I live in Louisville and we're not allowed outside of our houses after 9 p.m. So, yeah,
which I understand.
I was actually at Target. I was trying to run and grab some things at Target like around 7:45, and they wouldn't even let me in at 7:45. They were in the process of like boarding up their doors.
And the curfew's at what, 8 or 9?
Curfew's at 9.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Hour and 15 minutes to go, and they still want to let you in.
No. I was bummed.
What did you have to get at Target?
I was going to just run and grab some, I needed some paper, like printer paper.
Paper?
Yeah,
what is
for
this,
work.
1999?
Ran out of printer paper. And, yeah, seriously, what is that? I guess I could just order it on Amazon. It'll be here tomorrow. But I was like, let me go out and grab some printer paper. Yeah, so that's how it's going here. How about you? What were you doing before this?
Well, I wasn't at Target nor on lockdown, but no, I mean, I had the luxury of going to a beach, and I proceeded to take that luxury today. I got off work 5:30. We decided, you know what? There's no game tonight. Right, we're waiting till 9 o'clock to do the show. So my wife and I went out to the beach. Figured I had enough time, get home, prepare for this show and everything. Why do people? I don't know. I'm just like I don't call myself an introvert, but why do so many people go out of their way to strike conversations and talk your ear off about stuff that you don't care about? So we were at the beach, and then we're walking back to go to the car because. Tick, 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 Jim. It's time to do a show tonight. There's a freaking puppy. So here goes my wife. Oh, look at the puppy. Right? And this couple's like, and they're older. They're like, oh, yeah, you want to come over and pet him? Sure, of course. Why not? And what's the harm in a simple pet? Nice little dog. You move on about your day, right? That's a typical conversation. Hi, How you doing? Here's my dog. Cute. Have a great day. It's not how it goes, Jim. Not tonight. Not when you're living down in the South. Not good old Jacksonville, Florida. And this isn't just like any normal story either. It's not like, oh, how you doing? Oh, yeah, well, I live a normal life. No. I get my ear off about this guy who apparently is a tennis player back in the day. Also apparently owned Starbucks in 1994. Not sure how true this all is. Owns 26 houses. How do I know this, Jim? I mean, I've met the guy an hour ago.
Yeah.
Go again, case in point. Why should I know all this stuff about you? You're the girl he was with. He's known since 1975. They just rekindled 2 months ago.
Oh.
I want to go home and do a show.
Let's Google this guy. So he said he owned Starbucks.
Yes.
Is that what he said?
Yes. So I don't want to go. I mean, I'm not going to put his name out on there in the sense of like this. Like, I'll just keep it at that.
Yeah.
But I've tried to Google and haven't found anything. So, but I mean, his stories were quite specific. Oh, here's another thing. So he's talking about good friend of him, good friend of him, a doctor who specializes in ACL, because he asked where I was from. And I told him, well, I'm originally from the Pittsburgh area. He goes, oh, well, I probably know Pittsburgh better than you. I mean, okay, you might actually. You're kind of older too. I don't know. I don't know your story yet. Yeah. As I found out, I would. But yeah, he's telling me about, you know, that the team doctor he knows, he now lives down here in the Jacksonville area, and he's like, he's done ACL injuries for everyone. Adrian Peterson did his surgery apparently, right?
Okay.
Oh yeah, cool. That's a pretty cool story. You know, and he's like, you know, there's only one guy that he did a surgery for that didn't give him an autographed jersey, and that was Franco Harris. So I called up Franco and I'm like, come on, man. Like, really? You called up Franco now? Like, where does this end?
Yeah, that's insane.
So, you know, he was clearly just one of those guys that love to talk about himself. Is this real or not?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
It's quite, like I said, specific,
yeah.
but
Very.
I don't know. So he's been around the world and and talked my ear off, but I made it home, Jim.
Yeah, you should have asked him if you could like borrow one of his houses. Like
just borrow it. I could have been doing the show live from his residence. Who knows?
Right. Yeah. There's probably some nice houses right around the beach in Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah.
I've only been to Jacksonville one time in my life. It was for the 2006 Gator Bowl. Was
okay.
I was 18 years old, freshman in college. And yeah, it was Louisville against Virginia Tech in the Gator Bowl.
Nice.
Only time I've ever been to Jacksonville.
Nice. So that July, right? 6 months later, basically. Well, I guess 7, because that's January 2nd, I think it is, right? The Gator Bowl.
Yeah. It was like right after New Year's.
Right. So that July is actually when I moved down here. So how about that?
There you go. So I was there before you. I was just scoping it. I was scoping it out for you.
And here we are. Just as the couple I just spoke of, right? It was fate, Jim.
Yep.
So yeah, so that was my night. Like I said, all I'm worried about is like, all right, man, I got to get going now. I got a show to do. You know, I mean, I know you're pretty big time, but you're not a host of North Shore 9. You know, I got people to be here for. So I made it.
People waiting on you.
I took my shower. I ate my half of a sub.
At least you made it today, right?
Apparently, looking at the stream now, I also may have cut myself shaving again rather quickly.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
At least you. I don't even like shave anymore, really. Like, I mean, a little bit here and there, but it's not often.
Oh man. So yeah.
All right. So yeah. So crazy night for both of us. You had a good night on the beach with a multi-millionaire, maybe a billionaire, and I couldn't get into Target to buy some paper.
Jim, he could have been a trillionaire. We're not sure.
He could have been.
Could have been. Yeah, man. So I guess we have a little bit of Pirates news to talk about.
A little bit.
There's You know what though, Jim? Before we get into that, why don't we do something here?
Let's do that. Okay.
Why don't you tell the people what's coming up in 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks. So not only will it be the MLB postseason, but it'll also be week 1 of North Shore 9 Jeopardy. Now, if you remember last year, North Shore 9 Jeopardy, the winner, who was crowned smartest Pirates fan, somehow was Tyler. I still don't know how that happened. Don't know how it happened, but Tyler somehow won. So
also clearly the most athletic Pirates fan.
Yes, natural born athlete. You know, Tyler wags to catch, wags to hopeless, whatever he is now. But yeah, NS9 Jeopardy starting up in 2 weeks, week 1, 2 weeks from today. So I'm pretty excited about it because I wasn't part of the show last year, so this will be my first game show hosting experience.
That's right. I'm excited about that. Ryan's gone. We got the Godfather out of here. You're on. Maybe even Tyler's going to host some here and there. We'll find out. But yeah, I'm trying to remember now. Did we say it was going to be how many shows? I can't remember now. Because we planned it out, which is why it's starting October 8th. And we'll go into...
I think we're going to do 6 shows. And then the 6 winners, we're going to face off.
That's right.
In like a tournament.
That's right.
Wasn't that right?
Yes, that's exactly right. We're going to have the 6 shows. That way there's 6 winners. And then we're going to do basically the Battle of Champions to determine on the final show. So there's going to be 7 shows in total.
Okay.
I think we're going to do the best 3, right? We're going to have there's going to be 6 champions, obviously. We're going to take the 3 highest scores.
So
and those 3 people will be on the Battle of Champions, which equals out to 7 shows, right? We're going to do this every 4 weeks. And that way the Battle of Champions, I think, ended up being whatever it ends up being. It was either like the last week of March or the first week of April.
Yeah, it's going to be like right around opening day
right.
time. So should be right around there.
Should be a good time. So what we're going to do is why you guys wanted to tune in right now. All right. And if we don't get enough for the NS9 live portion, this will carry over to people listening to the podcast. Okay. So if you do want to be a contestant for the first show, October 8th, 2 weeks from today, and I just want to put out there some very basic qualifications. You have to have a camera and have to have Zoom. So unless you're still buying paper from Target, it's likely in 2020 you have both. All right. So you have to have those to be on. All right. But if you do want to be a contestant, what I need you to do, all right, the first 3 people that tweet at us a GIF or a picture, because the reason I say that is some people's favorites might not have been in the GIF era. So tweet us a picture or GIF of your favorite part and tell us why that's your favorite part. First thing to do that, you'll be the 3 contestants on the very first show, October 8th.
I like it.
Well, I hope so, because it's been said and it's been done.
Yeah, right. So yeah, get your GIF in, get your GIF in, however you want to say it. Is it GIF or is it GIF? Has it been actually said?
Hold on.
I don't even. What is it? I don't even know.
We haven't had this conversation yet.
I think it's GIF.
Do we have a GIF and GIF battle? Oh my God. I think I got Ryan either into saying it or he agreed. I forget. I didn't realize.
I'm pretty sure the person who invented it,
correct,
called it GIF.
No, the opposite. The person who invented it said it's a GIF, and that's why I call it a GIF.
I think you're right. I don't think you're right. I think he said it's GIF.
People watching right now, go ahead. Let us know who's right. Is it Donardo or is it Jim? Because I know it's me. It's
okay. So here's the actual dictionary accepts both pronunciations.
Well, who listens to the dictionary?
But then there is somebody on here that says they are wrong. It is a soft G pronounced GIF.
So that's solely the only reason why I call it GIF. Because just like Coming to America, right? If the inventor of GIF calls it GIF, I'm calling it GIF. And that's why I'm calling it GIF.
The inventor calls it GIF.
So beforehand, I did call it a GIF. It wasn't until that information is when I went over to the correct side.
So I don't know if I need to change it but then here's this. So that was back in 2014. In 2016, Newsweek declared Donardo that it was GIF.
Newsweek? That's fake news. That's fake news, Jim. Fake news.
So I don't know. I think you could do either or. I think we're both right.
All right. Well, regardless, if you've decided it's a GIF or a GIF, send it to us. Or also a JPEG, if you'd like.
JPEGs work.
Do we agree on JPEG?
I already see. Okay. Yeah. JPEG works. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead and do that. Go ahead and send us again, if you're just joining right now or not. If you want to be on the first week show, right, October 8th, a contestant, send us a GIF, GIF, or JPEG of your favorite Pirate player. Tell us why. First to do so will be our first 3 contestants. And we'll keep going on. We'll keep changing this up. So that, in a month from now, the next set of contestants we'll choose from will be something different. This is how we're doing the first week. Cool. All right.
I like it.
So enough of that. Let's get back to actual real baseball. As you were saying, Jim, or is it Gim?
Gim. It's a soft J. It's Yim.
Yim. All right.
It's like Yoggin.
Tell us what we want to hear, Yim.
Yeah, real baseball. I mean, Ke'Bryan Hayes still looks great. I think let's talk about him for a little bit.
Let's do it.
Yeah, Ke'Bryan Hayes. He hit his 4th homer of the year yesterday. Got another hit today. His line on the year right now, 329, 395, 603.
What's the 603, Jim?
I don't think.
Remind the people.
That is his slugging percentage.
So the light hitting third baseman slugging 603. Very
He
nice.
is slugging 603, 164 weighted runs created plus. So 64% above average hitter for the year. Defensively, he's been amazing. I mean, even today, and it was when Kuhl still had his no-hitter going on in I think it was the 6th inning. That ground ball down the line, like a 2-3 hopper. He fielded it right on the foul line, gunned it over to first, made a great play. So defensively, he's looked real solid. And offensively, you can't ask for more than what he's right so far. He's just come up and he has not been overmatched whatsoever. And he has been the best player on this team since his call up. I think that, and it's like clearly he's been the best player on the team since his call up. The Pittsburgh baseball writers, BBWA or whatever it's called, they did their team MVP vote. This past day, Stallings won, but Ke'Bryan Hayes was number 2 on the team, which I agree with them. I mean, he's only played 21 games now, including today. But the guy has clearly been the best player on the field since his call-up.
Yeah, and I just want to preference too, which, I mean, we put the numbers out there, so it's very evident. But it's not just as if he's been the best player since he's been called up because the Pirates are so bad and, it doesn't take much to be the best. Like, he has been very, very good. As you stated, 64% above average. This isn't, and obviously we're Pirates watchers, right? We watch them every day. We don't get to watch every other team. I know you watch your fair share of Padres and I watch my fair share of Nationals, which neither are on tonight. But this isn't just coming from the Pirates scope. I mean, to say his defense has been basically amazing, right, to this point, isn't just saying that because of the Pirates. It has. His defense has been very superb. And today's, to your point for today, that play he made today, you see everyone talks about Arenado, right? The defense. And I'm not going that route. But you see why people talk about his defense. And we talked about, even if his bat is just barely average, he will be a good player in the league, a starting player in the league because of his defense, right? So you see the defense out there and it's been fantastic. But what we also are seeing is this bat, which has been equally fantastic, almost to a degree.
Yeah.
And right. And the power, like you said, 4 home runs right now. And these weren't just Adam Frazier's barely making it over the wall. Like the Jay Hay home runs, he had that one year where they just cleared the wall. He got lucky on 8 of them. These have been smoked.
Yeah, he's hitting the ball hard. He is not striking out a ton. He's getting the ball into the air, hitting the ball with some power. I mean, and this was Alex Stumpf put this out yesterday, but among National League third basemen for the season, it is Manny Machado number 1 in wins above replacement, and then it's Eugenio Suarez, and then it's Ke'Bryan Hayes. So it's Machado, Suarez, Hayes. He's been the 3rd best third baseman in the National League this year.
And that encompasses the entire year.
Yeah. Better than Justin Turner. Better than Nolan Arenado, right? He's had a pretty rough year, but better than all those guys. He's
Chapman.
been really impressive, and been really good to see. Yeah, Chapman's AL. Chapman's actually a little bit ahead of him. There's some AL guys that are ahead of him.
My bad.
But yeah, among the National League though, it's just Machado and Suarez.
So that says a lot. And something I want to get to here as well, just to kind of point out there, like you mentioned, how he was second for MVP voting for the Pirates, right? There's a lot of talk, obviously, Rookie of the Year coming up. And I know, right, put in the Pirates scope, right? There's a lot of Pirates fans that you're seeing a lot of people feel like he's being snubbed. I mean, the numbers show he deserves, consideration, all that. But I think for the same reason he's second for MVP voting and the Pirates thing, it is simply just because it has been only 21 games. I mean, he's going to virtually have played a third of the season. And that's really what affects him. Yes, he has performed better, like an Alec Bohm, but Alec has been there this whole time. Like, he's consistently doing it. This whole season's is, small sample size, but his is even like to a more extreme degree. He's only had 81 plate appearances. So, I just want to like pump the brakes. I get why he's not truly in consideration. It's because he hasn't had really the at-bats to do it. Yes, it kind of stinks, but I'm perfectly okay not seeing, Ke'Bryan Hayes and Rookie of the Year talks. It's just unfortunate because the Pirates kept them down. I know we had, the COVID issues earlier, and that's part of the reason why. But that's why Stallings going to take MVP, and I'm good with that too. That is more or less because there's not a real winner. Like, that's just simply because the Pirates were that awful that Stallings defaults. Yes, Ke'Bryan Hayes' performance is why he should be MVP, but in just 21 games, how can you really give that guy MVP?
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the same thing with, like you said, with Rookie of the Year. I think Cronenworth, he's kind of cooled down a little bit. I think he kind of just has the leg up because of he's just been up all year, and he's put together a pretty solid season for a good team. So I think he's got kind of a leg up there as far as the hitters go. There are some pretty good pitchers too in the National League. So between Gonsolin and Dustin May with the Dodgers, it's hard to say. It would be hard to take 20 games worth of Ke'Bryan Hayes and say, okay, you won Rookie of the Year. Now Ke'Bryan Hayes, because of only playing 20 games, he's going to be eligible for Rookie of the Year next year too. So keep that in mind. He will be a rookie next year. He has not lost his prospect status. Honestly, these 20 games will probably shoot him up prospect lists over the offseason. I think he was somewhere, most lists had him around 40 or so. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be too surprised to see him at least get into the top 25 this offseason when it comes to those prospect lists, those top 100 lists. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see kind of where he is next year, and he will be eligible for the Rookie of the Year next year, and he will have a whole year to do that. So
yes.
that'll be good to see.
I'm with you there. I've obviously, as we've talked a little bit on the show, I don't think you either see any reason he'll be in AAA next year. He'll be on the club day one, so he should have a full 162 games under his belt to show his performance. And yeah, actually, you bring up a good point on prospect lists. You are absolutely correct. I think he's like ranging between like the 40 to 50-ish. His stock was hurt quite a bit last year because of his performance. Like all this whole time, I think he was like around the 30 range, for quite some time, 30, 40. And then of course he dropped a little bit. So you're right. Even though it is small sample, what you've seen so far is dude can hit and he can hit hard. And with that said, that was really the question and why he dropped. So even though it is small sample, I think the question's been answered. And you're right. You could have people graduating, obviously, so the list will shorten up. But I do think that he would rise. And Ke'Bryan Hayes stock is definitely up there. We talked about buying stocks. I'm buying Ke'Bryan Hayes. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, definitely like that. He is somebody I am buying for sure. Yep.
Good to know.
Maybe. Do we want to talk about the prospect that we're probably not buying? We want to even get into that.
His might drop. Let's talk about it. Even though there's not a whole lot of news, we thought there'd be some more news to talk about. But yeah, let's go ahead and bring it up.
So O'Neal Cruz as everybody probably knows, it was late Monday night, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, late
It was
Monday
Monday
night.
at 1 a.m. I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, Tuesday
Was
morning, I
involved
guess.
in a car accident in the Dominican Republic where he was the driver of a vehicle and he hit a motorcycle that killed 3 people who were riding on the motorcycle. So just, absolutely awful news. Just because, I mean, 3 people died,
Right.
in this situation. Just terrible. I think they were like 19, 20, and like 21 years old. So 3 young people died in this wreck. It kind of came out during the day Tuesday that, Cruz was cooperating with officials. He, didn't seem like there was any alcohol involved. But then late Tuesday night, it came out that, he was being arrested because of having alcohol in his system. So it's like I said, terror, just an absolute tragedy. And it's something where if that's the case, obviously you kill somebody while you're driving drunk. That's a pretty serious crime, not only in America but in other countries as well. His career probably over.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's obviously it's a terrible thing that's happened, and a huge. But if you're looking at it from a baseball standpoint as well, it's just another hit to this organization where off-field problems are causing major issues with this organization. So we've seen some off the field problems happen over the past few years, and this is just another one. It's a terrible thing that occurred, and I said if true, Oneil Cruz is probably not playing baseball ever again.
Right. And like you said, it's just a sad situation all around. 3 people, young people too. I mean, they were 2019, I think, 21, 23, like around that age. So initial thought, when I saw the report and, what was being passed around, right, there was an accident, 3 people died, comes out, they were on a motorcycle, but it was late. It was after curfew. And like you said, like no alcohol was involved, but they were riding this motorcycle, no lights on. If you know anything about the Dominican Republic, and if not, you might have heard, I mean, it's just awful, the roads and driving, the situations, I mean, just think about previous, with Oscar Tavares and Castillo, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think died separately, but on the same day, I believe, or a day apart, and like in the baseball world, we were brought into that situation and had a little bit of understanding of, how the traffic is down there. I mean, it just seems like it's the wild, wild west, and it's crazy. So part of me was just like, man, like here we go again with what's taking place. Not seeing alcohol's involved. It's still a sad situation, but you kind of play it to who knows with everything that's going on down there. But then, right, like later that night, as you mentioned, like the reports coming out and they're charging him and accusing him of being under the influence. And now it just takes a whole nother turn. It goes from just a tragic situation to, man, could this have been avoided, by just being responsible and smart and right. And like you said, so now it turns it into like, you have to, and it's okay. I'll put this out there too. Like people are selfish. It is okay to think about this, like as you're a Pirate fan, like as a Pirates aspect, as baseball, right? The problem is like, it can't be the sole thing you're thinking about. Like you can't just say, oh my God, poor Pirates, poor Pirates. Like 3 people died, like this is a pretty big incident. This is bigger than baseball. It's okay to have those thoughts. I get it. But like, that can't be your only thing. Like you have to think bigger here. But, to parlay this, right, like this is just another strike in this organization. And I'm not saying that the organization could have prevented this. I mean, it's clearly on Oneil Cruz, right? If all this is true, he has to take full responsibility. You can't blame anyone else. But my feeling is just like, what is the culture of this organization now. You know, I'm not saying every one of these incidents too that you can blame it on the organization, but the thing is, this organization has had all these incidents. How is there not a culture change? Like how does this incident, which is similar to the Jung Ho Kang situation, like how does this still happen now? So yes, in a Pirates perspective, that's where I feel with the Pirates situation is like, how is this stuff still happening?
Yeah, and it's a shame. And you know, Rob Beertown put out an article today at The Athletic talking about how, you know, this is now four things in the last 4 years, right? You had Jung Ho Kang, you had Haiwan Bay, I don't know how you pronounce his name exactly, but and then you had obviously Vasquez last year, and now this. So you know, it's this string of off the field issues involving players in your organization, high profile play. Like these aren't just other guys. These are high profile guys in your organization that are doing bad things. And it's just, you know, he was calling for, you know, Bob Nutting needs to make an apology. I don't really know what a Bob Nutting apology is going to accomplish in this whole situation.
And that I
don't
agree.
Really know what, you know, and I don't really know if it's a culture thing. I mean, O'Neal Cruz isn't around Felipe Vasquez, Jung Ho Kang, and these guys aren't together all the time. Not all of them even speak the same language, right? So I don't really know if it's a culture thing. I honestly think it's just like a series of unfortunate events for the organization, right? That all these terrible things have just happened. I you know, from a baseball standpoint, it's hard to put any blame on the Pirates. Now, where I can put blame on the Pirates is, you know, why was Jung Ho Kang brought back after that? Why is Bay still in this organization and, you know, in the 60-man player pool at in Altoona, right? So those are things that, you know, feel free to criticize this organization about. You know, do those people deserve second chances? I don't, you know, that's I don't know. We could debate that, but I don't think it's you know, as unfortunate as the situations are, it's not your employer's fault if you go out there and you make a mistake and you do something stupid, right? Where, you know, you drink too much and then you drive home instead of calling an Uber, right? That's not your employer's fault.
Right.
That's your fault.
Right. I get that.
Again, you know, so it's hard to put any blame on the Pirates for the actual incidents. So again, a Bob Nutting apology, I don't really know what the point of that would be. You know, maybe come out and say something like, you know, this is unacceptable, you know, from employees of our organization, you know, whatever you want to do there. But it's not really going to accomplish it. But
and stop you there too, real quick. Like I think too, I agree with you in that aspect, and I'll say here too. I didn't read the article. I saw the headline. I didn't really have much time today. I was also too busy talking to people on Jacksonville Beach. But I don't think, like, I didn't really agree with the, you know, the Nutting deserves, we deserve an apology from Nutting. He owes us an apology. I don't really agree with that. And especially like now also, because we're kind of going to court over this. And if you're going to argue, right, I don't know, the defense team's there, the Pirates are there. They've extended this to Friday, right? Tomorrow they're going to have the court hearing because they want to talk about this. So, I mean, like, there's two sides to every story. And I'm not trying to say O'Neal's, you know, correct or whatever, but if he says he didn't do it, then what are you also apologizing for? Like, I'm not going to apologize now.
Right.
Unless this is like actually true, then okay, you know? So that's why I'm not all on board with that also. But you know, what I do want to say here too is I'm with you also. Like, the responsibility is on these people. There's no one else to blame but them. And yes, the whole like work environment thing makes sense. You know, if I did something, people are probably not going to go to my employer and be like, what is wrong with you people, right? But the thing is, this is where, like, obviously sports is different from true businesses, like true employers. This is a whole team. Like, I think it's fair, and I'm not saying this is a problem, but I think it is fair to question the culture. I don't know what's going on in the clubhouse. I don't know what's going on in the organization. You know, they might have things set up. They might have protocols. They might talk about this stuff a lot. I don't know. But because these 4 incidents have happened in 4 years, and it's not as if it's just some, I don't know, we went egging, it was a dumb thing. I mean, these have all been very, very serious, critical things, which have been very, have led to really bad incidents, or could have led to some really bad incidents. So I think it is fair to question at this time the culture. But you are correct. You can't blame the Pirates for these problems. It is the people. They are adults. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of how I feel.
I agree. I mean, I would at least imagine that, come spring training, you got to at least have a sit down with the whole organization and be like, listen, enough is enough. If you're going to go out there and you're going to drink alcohol, under absolutely no circumstances should you be driving home. And it's something obviously these people should already know, but this is, like I said, this is too many times that this has happened. This is twice now that it's been a drunk driving, and then we have domestic violence and
we won't get the
other
other
things.
one.
So
yeah,
it's just, so you've just these terrible things that have happened, with members of this organization. And yeah, it needs to stop. I mean, I don't really know if there's a way to do that. But it needs to stop. And, as I said, just a horrible tragedy, what happened this week. And listen, hopefully for O'Neal Cruz's sake, hopefully he wasn't driving under the influence. I don't want the guy's life to be ruined, because I mean that's exactly what would happen. And regardless if he was under the influence or not, he's responsible for 3 people dying.
Right.
So he's gonna have to live with that the rest of his life. Well, I guess we'll find out more details tomorrow during their arraignment, and then I guess there's gonna have to be a trial and all that now too. So yeah, I guess we'll be following that this offseason. I don't know how quickly that whole process will go.
Right. Again, it sounds like, I mean, I guess I won't go there, but yeah. Yeah, so it's just another dark mark, on the Pirates. And, again, to bring it to Pirates sphere, I mean, this was a top prospect. We're talking about the rebuilding of the Pirates, and he was definitely part of the plan and like what he could be. And it's, very evident right now that we might not ever see that, and it just adds now to the struggle of this organization too. So we talked about the culture, right? Questioning the culture, the struggle in that sense. But like now there's some real issues with, this rebuilding again, with the actual team and such, losing someone with that top talent could, really hinder this rebuild. So I guess we'll see, but enough talking about that sense. Yeah. I mean, it's tragic. And it's, I just hope it's not true. And it's not solely just, I just hope he was more responsible just as a person, I just really, really hope he was not that dumb. I mean, it sounds like he pretty much just got to the Dominican.
Yeah.
And he was
Altoona
already missing curfew.
Altoona was in camp on Saturday or Sunday. I mean, I think this must have just happened, like his first or second day down there.
Right. Yep. So we'll learn more tomorrow, it sounds like. How much more we'll find out. And this will probably be the story of the offseason once again. Or at least the majority of it.
Yep.
All right. Do we want to move past him then?
Let's move past that.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked enough about that.
All right. So we talked to Brian. What about the last 2 starts? And the reason I'm going to do this is because Trevor Williams pitched yesterday, his last start of 2020. Pitched fairly well. And then Chad Cole pitched today, his last start of the season. Also pitched very well. So 2 pitchers. You know what? Let's throw in Brault in there as well.
You could throw in the last 3 starts.
Yeah, let's throw in Brault too. Brault, also a fantastic start. Do those 3 change anything in your mind, right? These past 3 starts. Let's start there. Does any of those 3 change anything in your mind? And what do you think the outlook is for 2020 for each of those players individually? Let's start with Brault.
So I would say Brault was the most consistent of all the pitchers this year in the rotation. He did fine. He was a solid, fine major league starter. So I mean, if I'm pulling up his numbers here, he's going to finish the year because I don't think he's starting again. I think that was his last start.
Yep.
11 games, 10 starts. That non-start was a piggyback with Cool.
Mm-hmm.
3.38 earned run average, 3.91 FIP, 4.84 xFIP. What was the big thing with Brault this year was he kept the ball in the ballpark. It was his lowest home run rate of his career. So that was good. But again, I think if we're talking from a long-term outlook on things, we've seen Steven Brault in 2019. We've seen Steven Brault in 2018. We've seen Steven Brault in 2017 and 2016, right? This isn't our first look at Steven Brault. We know that Steven Brault is fully capable of going out there and putting together performances like he did last start. He's pitched well during spurts of his career.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he is a quality major league starter though. Like over the course of an entire season. Like I said, he was good this year, and that was good to see. I think if we're talking outlook, I think you've got to pencil him into next year's rotation. Just based off looking at what we have. So I think he's got a spot there. But no, like this year changed my outlook on who Steven Brault is as a pitcher. It didn't change. It didn't change that. No.
Got you. And I think I'm with you there. I mean, yeah, it was nice seeing him perform the way he did. But this just goes also to the degree as it is small sample size season. And right, he pitched 42 innings. I've seen this Steve Brault before. Actually, as a matter of fact, with you talking the way with everything you did right now, it just popped in my head. I believe the time I had Noah Hiles on for NS9 Live, we talked about how good Steven Brault has been. And I feel like it was like this 40 inning stretch. And he was going off, giving all the numbers and everything. And it's like we've seen this Steven Brault. And I know he's capable of doing things like this in stretches. But when you look at the body of work and everything, he's just like a meh pitcher. So I think what you're saying, like being in the rotation next year, it could happen. And if it does, I think it's more of, to go back to the Jacob Stallings MVP thing, it's more of the lack of rotation options of quality pitchers than it truly is that Steven Brault's really earning the position. And I'm not out here to just say Steven Brault's a terrible pitcher, right? But
no.
He's likely not a good pitcher. And with that said, too, up until the last few starts, he was kind of used in a role that was best suited for him. So you mentioned the piggybacking. He was in a piggybacking. The first time he came on the second end, and then like the next few times he was, in the front end. Let's all think back at a time where he had the perfect game going through 3 innings, right? I mean, there's 3 perfect innings. That's Steven Brault is good in these short, small samples, right? So you set him up to, like, you put him in his best situation, and this is what he gave you. So I'm okay with that. I think Steven Brault is probably not a starting pitcher in like the original mentality of it. I think Steven Brault can be a very good piggyback type pitcher. If they're going to use an opener or say a piggyback again, that's where he can excel at. He's good in this role, and he can become that good Steven Brault. So yeah, I don't think it really changes too much. I think what it did is it answered me that, yeah, he's good in this type of role. And if we want to get creative and use that type of role or something similar, Steve Brault's the man.
Yeah. No, well put.
Okay, so that is Steven Brault. let's go to the next guy. If I don't know if Chris is still on Renegades of Rotunda, Thrilliums. What about Thrilliums?
Excellent start yesterday. His best start of the year, I would say. Trevor Williams is an interesting guy because what's going to separate him from somebody like Brault is going to be the salary, right? So Trevor Williams, this was his first year of arbitration. Next year, he will be in the second year of arbitration. It'll probably be due to make about $4 million next year. And like, does Trevor Williams belong on a major league roster? I think he does. Like, I think Trevor Williams is a major league pitcher. And I think he's proven that, from 2017 to 2018, like he was an effective starting pitcher. Mm-hmm. The last 2 years, though, he just hasn't been able to perform the way he was able to those 2 seasons. This year, you look at it, was his worst year as a major leaguer. Last year was not great either. And I think he is a candidate that, you got to look at non-tendering just from where this organization is. I don't know if they are in a spot where they want to pay $4 million for a pitcher who doesn't really look to be in their future plans for when they do start contending, right? So that's the thing with Trevor Williams. We were kind of talking about him this year as a guy who, hey, if Trevor Williams can perform like he has in the past, then he could make a good trade candidate, right? And that just didn't end up happening. So I don't know if he's somebody you bring back, honestly. I could see maybe like a non-tender, sign him to a minor league deal type thing, if you kind of still want him around. But I also feel like he'll get that opportunity in other organizations as well. Like I said, he'll be in a major league camp next year. I just don't know if the Pirates are going to be a good fit for it, just because of where we're heading. Like I said, is he a guy you want to pay $4 million to when you're rebuilding, and maybe you want to give some playing time to somebody like Cody Ponce, instead, right? So, or Brubaker, mm-hmm. right? You want to maybe see what those guys have instead of paying $4 million for Trevor Williams. So I think it was nice to see him. Nice outing yesterday, but I think he's a very strong candidate to get non-tendered and become a free agent after this year. But I think we may have seen his last start the other day.
You've hit everything on the head with this, and you are correct. I do want to add and say this too, and this goes with the highs and lows. And, sometimes we get carried away on things, but I do take this season to a degree with like a grain of salt also. So, with the really good ones, the players, and the really bad ones, it's all going to be a 60 game if they even played full 60 games. That's small sample according to baseball. It really is. It's almost a third of like a typical season. And let's go back. We said it before. Let's go back to just last year, the Washington Nationals. They weren't even a playoff team. They're like the second worst team in the NL after 60 games, and they won the World Series. So we understand how much 60 games really doesn't truly matter. So part of me takes everything with a grain of salt, and just everything was weird too. No one was in this, like their actual routines and such. But for a guy who you had to question coming into this year, if he can go back to that guy, he could be a capable pitcher. We never thought Trevor Williams was a 1, 2, or 3. We always felt Trevor Williams could be a solid 4 or 5, because he's not going to win a game probably by his pitching, but he can keep your team in it at times. So a guy who was like on that bubble heading into this year, and then to give you this season, now you really do question it. Yes, the ERA, 6.18, coming off that excellent start. But also, Jim, you talk about the home run rate, with Stephen Brault, how good it was and excellent it is. He's given up basically at 0.4, almost a half a home run per 9.
Yeah.
Williams is the complete opposite. He's almost giving 2.5 home runs per 9. that doesn't set you up for success, especially a guy who doesn't miss bats, right? Like Trevor Williams' K rate isn't really what matters. He's not going to be a strikeout pitcher. You're not worried if he racks up 10 strikeouts a game. Does he limit damage, right? Does he give up not too many hits, soft contact and such? He was getting hammered. This is a guy who doesn't miss bats, and they're all teeing off on him, right? 2.44 home runs per 9. That is not set up for success. And yes, even though it was a small sample, even his excellent game, it was the first pitch, wasn't it? The first pitch of the game was a home run.
It was the first batter. I don't know if it was first pitch, but yeah, it was
so
early.
That does worry me. And I think, to your degree, like what you're saying about, non-tendering him, I think the simple question is, would any team be willing to pay Trevor Williams $4 million next year? I don't think. So you're right. You're probably better off. You might be able to keep him in the organization, but it's going to be due to non-tender and then maybe offering him a contract like a minor league deal or whatever. But I'm with you. I really, really do think he's definitely a candidate, and I think it's going to happen. The guy's a great guy. Love Trevor Williams. He's a great guy. It's just unfortunate he just hasn't shown to be a great pitcher. And this year just compounded last year the struggles and got even worse. So I think you're right. It very well could have been the last start yesterday.
Yeah.
All right.
We're in an agreement there.
Let's go. And lastly, the Chad Kuhl. So he pitched today. Speaking of no-hitters again, right? He had one going for some time. He looked pretty good. What did he go? Yeah, 7 innings. So he could go the whole way. He gave up 2 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. But yeah, he looked good. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, he looked really good today. I said he had a no-hitter going into the 6th. Was missing bats. The stuff looked good. It was good to see him coming back, after the Tommy John surgery last year. And he had a couple rough outings kind of heading into today. Mm-hmm. So it was good to see that. I still going back to kind of the same thing with Brault. And we've been talking about Kuhl for a while now, and kind of like what is he best suited for? And I still don't know if starting is that thing. I think he could be a very good relief pitcher, or maybe somebody who is, if we're going to use that opener role, somebody who's going to go and give you 2 to 3 innings. And I think he could be really good in that role. And if you look at the stats, those first few outings where he was doing that, mm-hmm. His strikeout rate was higher, his everything was better, as far as from his peripherals go. And then when he went to being a starting pitcher is kind of when he just became like a replacement level player, essentially, which is kind of where he was heading into today. He was a replacement level pitcher this season. So it was good to see him finish on a high note. I think he's somebody who will be competing for a spot in the rotation next year. I think ideally, though, Chad Kuhl is someone who you want to see come out of the bullpen and be kind of that shutdown reliever guy. But again, he's somebody who's shown that he can start, but I don't think that's the ideal role for him.
Yep. So let's go back to the trade deadline. I think we kind of talked about this, and part of it was I think he will be a really good reliever. I think he is a really good reliever. It's just unfortunate he's on a team that he has to be utilized as a starter. What I'll say about this start and his season is my first and foremost was health. This is going to be his first time coming back off the Tommy John. Does he at least look healthy and good? And he checked that off, right? He looked really, really good his first few outings. But like you said, he was also in a role that was set for him, the piggybacking and such. When he went to a full-time starter, that's where he did struggle. We started not missing bats as much also. People were hitting him hard really for all season. He just got away with some things because he was missing bats. But then that middle spot, guys are hitting him. So what I think, like, it was nice seeing this start with him. What I'll say about this start capping the season off was he showed you how he can be an effective starter. But it's like, unfortunately, to me, there's too many concerns with him. I would like to see what he can do next year, having a full season, right? A full regular off season going next year. And I think, like you mentioned, he will compete. And I think more than Brault, he'll have a better chance, like an inside track to being in that rotation. And I think he can be a capable starting pitcher. I like what he brings. I like what he potentially could do. But what I think we haven't seen is, right, if he was on a good team that had a good starting rotation, he could be that really, really, really good multi-inning, reliever that it comes in. I'm not saying he's Andrew Miller, like that role, like he's not your closer. He's that guy that fills in and gives you really good solid innings to get out jam and such. And yeah, I think he's that dude, but he won't be able to get that because the Pirates don't have any good options in that rotation. So therefore he'll probably be in the rotation again next year. We'll probably still be questioning next year. Then they'll probably trade him, or at some point he'll get traded to a good team. They'll put him in the bullpen. And that's when we'll see Chad Cole just blossom into this great reliever.
Yeah. I think both of us are kind of in agreement on who Chad Cole is. As I think he's somebody who can start if he's called upon. But like I said, I don't think that's the ideal role for him.
Right. And also to the degree too, just put that, like, I think we're not really going to talk too much about him, maybe later, but like with Brubaker, I think that's what he is as well. I think Brubaker could be a very effective reliever. Like him and Chad Cole could be really, really good in this bullpen. It's just they're going to be called upon to be in the rotation, and people are going to end up poo-pooing on them, saying that they're not good because of what they see in that rotation. When I think you and I both feel like they are good pitchers. They're just not in the best role that they're suited for.
And what's unfortunate is just the Pirates seem to have a lot of those guys, like those number 6 starters,
Right.
I mean, if you think about it, Brubaker, Cole, Clay
Brault.
Holmes fits that mold too. Clay Holmes, Brault. So Holmes was somebody who was really impressive out of the bullpen earlier this year.
That's true. I kind of forgot about Holmes. Yeah.
Yeah. So like we have a lot of those guys who were like, they were, starting pitchers all the way through the minor leagues, reached the majors, not elite starters in the majors, but they've shown that they can perform really well out of the bullpen. So I don't know. Well, I think next year I would like to see almost a whole year of that Brault full piggybacking thing. Like, I feel like that was like a really good situation that they had. So it'd be interesting if they like tried that again for a full season. We'll see. Brault and Cole, I am fully expecting to be back and competing for starting rotation spots next year. So we'll get to maybe try that out again.
I mean, why don't we just bullpen the whole year? Sounds like that's all we have. So why don't we just do bullpenning the whole year? You got 26 guys.
Roster.
There's now a DH.
Yeah, roster.
Just have like
guys. Yeah.
Just carry like 10 batters, right? Just someone who can back up catcher, right? Anyone can play anywhere else. You're not going to be good, whatever. Just have 10 batters, 16 pitchers. Call it a day bullpen.
There you go. All you need.
I like it. Cool. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you. There's the 3 pitchers. We talked to Brian. Anything else you want to talk about? We're going to wrap this up here.
Let's wrap it up. My computer is about to die, actually. So
that's a good time.
I've got my screen. I've got my screen on like the lowest brightness possible, so it lasts a little bit longer.
All right. Cool. Well, I appreciate everyone for joining. And again, make sure you tweet at us to be a contestant if it's not already locked up by now. So I guess we'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
See ya.